morning, evening, and afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Expertzone ANZ podcast. We are at number 50.
What?
50, episode 50. That is mental.
Say it again.
Episode 50. We have already started really unprofessionally, and we will not get any better from here. Welcome to our 50th episode, and it is a special. And the reason why it's a special is because we want to do as little work as possible. And that was pretty much an aim in our whiteboard session that we did with this podcast just before this one, is to do as little as possible. And I think we can achieve that one. Now,
yes.
Joined with us today, we have Mr. Fletcher Mayo from New Zealand. How are you, Mr. Fletcher Mayo?
I am good. I am always good. It is great to be on this, and I'm so excited that we're at podcast 50. We've been doing this over a year now. It's awesome.
It is very, very, very awesome.
I was like, are you going to make a comment? Or it's like, yeah.
Nice awkward silence there. Thanks.
My computer froze a little bit. I'm not going to lie.
Must be that storm in the background.
Yes.
Well, that's right. Yeah, in Western Australia currently, my background is blurred because why not? But outside, it is a storming outside, so there might be a bit of a few glitches in the interwebs, but we will see how we go. This is being recorded from Fletcher's screen, so no doubt I will be glitching here, there, and everywhere during this. But it's not about me. Today's podcast is about one man in particular that we haven't introduced yet, Mr. Darren Milton from Sydney.
Hello.
Via LA as well.
Via LA. Well, yes, definitely. That was a lot of fun. Thank you for having me and doing as little work as possible, including myself.
That's it. Now, two of us have dressed on point for this podcast today. I think we'll just stand up and wear my Xbox t-shirt, I think.
Well, if I unblur my background, you'll also see that I have some Xbox stuff. So
You took time to merchandise it beforehand, I see.
I did, yeah. That's why it was blurred. It was unfinished, but now it is finished. So
oh dear, and absolutely for this 50th episode special, we wanted to talk all things E3, and there wasn't a better way to do this than to send someone to E3. It cost a lot of money, I'm assuming. So we wanted to make sure we got our money's worth. Now, Fletcher, we didn't send you. You didn't go to E3, did you?
No, I didn't.
No, I didn't go.
I went up the road a few times. Went to the dairy, got an ice cream.
I drew E3 on a piece of paper and stuck it behind me and took a selfie. It didn't have the same effect. Darren.
Oh, it's blurred.
Well done, mate. Yep. We can't show this for censorship purposes.
Pretty much.
So Darren, you went to E3. You were a lucky man.
I did win a prize to go to E3, which was fantastic. A trip of a lifetime, I believe, is a great phrase to share my experiences like this with. It was phenomenal. I think I was very lucky with the way that I went to go and how I went and who I went with. I definitely did get some work perks thrown in as well, which is cool.
That's good. And this podcast is the single justification for your trip to E3, so we better do a semi-good job.
The 70 to 100 views that we get each week hopefully are going to pay for your flights and accommodation. So maybe we should ask some people to subscribe on us and like the channel, because Darren ain't going next year if that's not going to get any better.
No, so please support me and bring me back there next year, please. Thank you.
Yeah, Darren's going to do a GoFundMe page.
Send me to E3 again.
Because you're doing Dry July, right, D-Milt?
I am doing Dry July.
Are you just taking the donations from that for your E3 trip? Or?
No, that is going to a very just cause to support people who have cancer. So,
okay.
Something that I will be Well, feel free to pledge a donation to my page to donate to those people in need who have had cancer or have cancer at this stage.
That is lovely, and a way to turn a really happy podcast into a somber mood, Darren. Congratulations.
All for a good cause. It
is 100% for a good cause, but we want to make sure that we got our money's worth when we sent you. So Fletcher, I know that you have been gagging to ask him some questions on this. So I'm going to hand over to you, mate, and I want you to just bombard him with every question you can think of.
I worked really, really hard on thinking of these 4 questions.
Four. We've gone all out. We've gone all out for this podcast.
Yeah, this is to help you with any proof of execution that you need for this trip. So I wanted to know. I do actually want to ask you these questions because I know that even though we've got a whole bunch of good footage and we've got some great interviews, you're going to be able to give us so much more depth and context around the whole event from your own personal experience. So first off, let's start with an easy one. What was your personal highlight of E3?
There was many good highlights of E3, a lot of eye-opening for other people's experiences. But for myself, I don't think there was anything that tops being in the Microsoft Theater and sitting in there for the Microsoft Xbox briefing. I got my pass, I got to jump in, and I got to sit with thousands of people and experience the whole, I think it was an hour and 40 minutes of Microsoft Xbox briefing for every 60 game titles, every announcement, every tease, and just to hear the crowd roaring, to be in that environment was something that I've only dreamed about over the last years, that I've been really passionate about the Xbox brand. So I think that for myself, that was my highlight, my personal highlight, to be there, to be with everybody and just to experience and see the stage and see everything happen.
I have a question, follow-up question from Fletch.
Follow-up question.
With your jump in tagline, is it true that every audience member must indeed jump into that theatre?
I would love to say yes, but it was definitely a flood-in effect of the massive line of the amount of people. They flooded in to get the best seats in the house.
I feel like Reddit lied to me.
Xbox flood in. That's cool because I know I've seen a sneak peek because we have some post-production magic that goes on after these podcasts of a video that Steve put together of all your content. Yeah. I totally get that being your highlight because even just watching, when all the lights started buzzing around the place as the E3 thing opened, like that gave me chills just watching it secondhand. We actually ran a whole bunch of cinema events where we streamed the E3 Xbox keynote session. And yeah, man, I totally get that. Like we had a secondary buzz way over here in New Zealand and in Western Australia and every other state in Australia as well. So that's cool. And so you met a lot of people there. You met a heck of a lot of people. I know that for a fact. I set you up with beautiful questions with Ben from Madden, who we're going to get to very soon. But who was your favorite person to meet and why?
Why? Okay. So my favorite person that I was very fortunate enough to meet was Major Nelson himself. I was supporting the Xbox ANZ social team. So they had a interview with him and I was holding up the directional light for our cameraman to make sure that the lighting was perfect. I was holding it up and I got to see Major Nelson being interviewed in 3 different occasions from 3 different people around Australia, as well as Japan and Korea. And I got to meet him afterwards. He stayed around. He loves the Australian team. He loves everybody he loves being interviewed. And he's such a passionate person, but he's just a people person as well. He's just happy to have a chat, happy to have a photo taken. I put my arm around him, he put my arm around me, and it was a very wonderful moment to have a selfie with him. I was very proud of that, being a bit of a fanboy of him and his passion that he brings to the Xbox people.
So the way you worded that, it was you put your arm around him and he put your arm around you. I feel like that in my head, I've just got a picture of him going, no.
No. It was sort of like we're having a selfie together. Like we just have that sort of he's here, I'm here, and then that sort of moment. That sort of stuff.
You had a man hug.
I had a man hug, yeah, a side man hug.
Man hug.
And I went to Chick-fil-A the day after, and I saw Major Nelson at Chick-fil-A. So that was a bit of a fun moment. He eats like normal people. When you think about him, he's a big.
He eats like. You mean this person who's a normal person eats like a normal person?
Pretty much,
no,
yeah.
I'm sorry. I get what you mean.
It was just so. It's like, oh, that's Major Nelson. He's lining up Chick-fil-A. So that was pretty cool to see as well.
I just assumed they put him back in the cupboard on charge for the next E3.
Put him on ice. He'll thaw out next year.
Yeah, charge for next year.
Yeah.
Okay, so like. I think we all have our own viewpoints of E3 as well. Like everyone has in their head what it's like and the kind of experience it's going to give you. But like, how has actually going and physically being at E3 changed your view on gaming?
Oh, that's a really good question. I think personally, my view on gaming is that I don't game enough. There's so many people. So there was 2 halls in the LA Convention Center, the South Hall and the West Hall, that were just flooded with people. So I think a couple of years ago, they actually opened up E3 to the public and numbers grew. So I think there was 75,000 people attending. I don't know if it was each day, but over the 3-day period of E3, that's a lot of people to cram in a couple of halls and just to go and experience a game. But it demonstrated how many people are out there, how many gamers that are out there, how many passionate people about their brand or their specific game that they love playing. But personally, it just made me want to play more. And I was able to play a couple of games while I was there, but it had the impact of me wanting to play more. And since then, as you guys both know, we streamed Sea of Thieves the day after I got back, and we played for 3 hours or more.
Yeah, we
I was just
gotten you into a lot of trouble in that with your wife.
Yeah, we may have, but I did some stuff around the house, so I feel as though I earned the time.
Okay.
But I definitely
I know Talia obviously doesn't listen to this podcast because he's got some cojones on him right now.
Oh man,
it just made me want to play more and just to play different types of games and just be involved with Xbox more.
Sea of Thieves is that cheeky game, and Steve says this to me all the time. You can't go on Sea of Thieves just for like a quick session, because otherwise you'll never get anything done. So you when you go on, it's always like at the very minimum like 2.5, 3 hours. Like we need to do that again.
I jumped in yesterday. At about 5:45. So I finished work and my wife had taken my child out. And I thought I'll sit down and I'll just jump in and play a few games of the arena, which is like the battle royale mode on Sea of Thieves. 10:30 last night, I looked up and went, oh, wife and child are in bed.
Oh no.
Time flies when you're having fun, they say. So
it does when you are slaughtering pirates on the Sea of Thieves.
Okay, I got one more question, just one more.
Sure.
And it's another easy one. What were the top 3 games you are most looking forward to from E3?
So I'm gonna start with the way when they're going to be released. So, Borderlands 3, straight up. I'm a massive fan of the whole Borderlands series. I've played 1, I've played the DLC in 1, I've played 2, I've played the DLC in 2, and I was fortunate enough to play the gameplay at E3 of Borderlands 3 twice. It goes for about 20 minutes. You get to pick from 2 characters, and you get to go through a sequence and fight a boss. It just got me excited because I haven't played Borderlands in probably about a year and a half. I've put it down. I've played some other games since then, but being able to play it and just to fall back in love with it, I just can't wait to till that comes out in September this year. And then, so they also announced the DLC Fight for Sanctuary for Borderlands 2. I've now played that and finished that. So it didn't take me very long. I was able to finish that in a couple of nights. So that was really cool. If you love Borderlands 1, 2, go out and play the DLC. It's free until July 8th.
I've never played Borderlands before.
It's a loot, smash and grab, fast, fun. So many shooters, so many guns. There's millions of guns in number 2. There's going to be billions of guns in number 3. Just different sorts of mods, different combinations of different gun classes. And it is so much fun, especially when you're playing with some great people like yourself. You'll just go through, just shoot everybody, loot everything, and have a lot of fun.
It was one of those classic couch co-ops for me, and I've wasted too much time growing up playing Borderlands and Borderlands 2 because it was just like the go-to game besides maybe Halo. We used to do like zombie mode in Halo a lot. But too many hours in that game.
Fletch, you've played Borderlands 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Did you play split screen or did you play solo?
Split screen mostly.
So I found out that obviously with online being such a huge presence now, everybody loves like Halo because it was split screen. You could play cooperatively. Obviously back on your 360 when live wasn't as big as what it is today. With Borderlands 3, they announced in their little briefing before you went and go to play the game in the E3 at LA Convention Center that they have kept split screen in Borderlands 3.
It's so good. It's so good.
I think their words, it was a pain in the butt, not maybe those exact words, but pain in the butt to keep split screen, but we did it because of our fans. So the fan base for Borderlands itself is huge, and they know that split screen co-op, they can play with your best mate, your mate next to you on the couch in the same room is still coming to Borderlands 3, which I was
so key. That's just leveled the game up in my rank of games I'm most excited from E3. Just that one little fact.
Yeah. I can see that previously with Borderlands 1 and 2, I mean, like I said, I haven't played the games, but I can see, having played games similar to that with split screen, that bonds will have been formed in that game. Friendships would have been forged around the game and around the love for that game and coming over to each other's houses, maybe bringing your console across and plugging it into the TV and sitting playing split screen. So the fact that they've kept that split screen in means that those forged friendships can still have that authenticity. They can do a bit of nostalgia. Maybe they've been separated for a few years, but now what they can do is come over for a few beers and play some Borderlands, and that will bring them back together. I love that idea.
It's so much fun. And the next game that I'm really excited about, I mentioned on a previous podcast my love for Gears and Gears of War. Once again, I have played Gears of 1, 2, 3, Baird and Coltrane, how they did their little prequel to the game as well, and now Gears of War 4. I had my mate come over. I downloaded it on Game Pass. We played Gears of War 4 for the whole day. We played 8 hours straight, and we played Gears of War 4 from start to finish. It was absolutely epic, and I cannot wait for Gears 5.
Yeah.
The story's going to be a little bit more twisted. A new main character's coming through, but the gameplay with escape mode that's being launched, I think, next month. Don't quote me on that. Or September. But Gears 5 comes out in September, October.
10th was the date announced at E3.
Oh, I've messed up. So Borderlands 3 comes out on September 13th. I remember they're saying Friday the 13th. And then Gears comes out a few days before. So big month for September. I will probably be offline a lot of that playing Gears and Borderlands because Borderlands will suck you in. And
with the Gears, that's the first time. Well, this is the first time in their history that they've had a female protagonist as well. So they've got a female lead, which is great for Well, it's great for kind of the progression of gaming and the industry itself. But like I've seen on forums, I've seen everywhere, like girl gamers are going mad. Like they are stoked that there is finally a female protagonist in this huge franchise.
Yeah. And do you know, one of our field team in New Zealand is actually, or used to be, a professional Gears player.
Wow.
We should get him to do a little video for us or something. But he used to do tournaments.
Get him on the podcast.
Yeah. I'll have to get in touch with him. But he used to go around and do tournaments. So he's always a good person to have on hand at events.
Absolutely.
But yeah, what's your third game?
My third game is, of course, Cyberpunk 2077.
Yeah.
You're breathtaking.
You're breathtaking. So when Cyberpunk was huge last year, and it's just getting even better this year. As I mentioned before, in that I was supporting the Xbox ANZ social team. So because I was able to support them, they had once again interview and bits and pieces with the Cyberpunk team. They brought us into a media briefing for Cyberpunk 2077, which there was about 60 of us in a room with somebody playing 45 minutes worth of Cyberpunk 2077. So they went through your character, your customization, that wicked jacket, which looks like it's got the heater built into the collar, some of the vehicles. So the motorbike, there's a motorbike there, and just some of the dynamics, customization, people, gameplay, and some of the weapons that you can use as well. It just blew me away with how crystal clear it looked with being still in development mode, how smooth the customization, and how big this game really is going to become when it comes out in April next year. So I think I'm on that hype bandwagon, and I cannot wait to play it.
Yeah. I think I could play that game. I could definitely sit down and sink a few hours into it. I think it's definitely something that we should probably jump on stream for with a Mixer channel. Definitely. And try and get on as early as that game launches. I know that we're quite lucky in Australia that when a game says it launches on a specific day, it launches early here in Australia and New Zealand because we're first in the time zone. I remember I was streaming The Division with Fletcher and Hannah, and we had one of the guys jump on the stream, and he was like, "How have you got hold of this game?" I'm like, "It's out in Australia already. It's out. It's already out." He was in the States, and he was like, "This is amazing."
We'll definitely. That's one of my top games. I think that is the top game. That and Halo Infinite. Once we get more details on that as well,
we'll have a late night streaming session. I think for Cyberpunk.
100%.
Or an early morning. Depends on where we want to go.
Yeah, depending on where you are. But if we're up for it, we'll get in the cans of Red Bull and we will do a late night stream, early morning stream.
100%.
How do people watch this stream, guys?
Mixer. So you can watch it on our Mixer channel. I always put the links at the bottom of our videos, so you can always find the link to Mixer and Expertzone to check out more training content in our comments section below.
Fantastic. And like I must admit, we've got something like 37,500 followers. Darren managed to meet a few of those people when he was at E3 and got some lovely little clips of them saying that they watch you and I, Fletch, on the Mixer channel. So we could probably include some of these. And let's put them in. Let's put them in because I quite like the fact that Darren met some of our fans, even though that we never actually got to go to E3. So,
Hey everyone, I'm Farouk from Team Xbox, and I watch Fletcher and Steve on the Expertzone _ Xbox ANZ Mixer channel.
Hey everyone, I'm Reese.
I'm Paolo.
I'm Dexter. And we're from the UK Evangelism team and Ireland.
Hey, Charlotte, North Carolina.
And we watch Fletcher and Steve on the Expertzone _ Xbox ANZ
Mixer channel.
Woo! Yes! Yes! Nailed it. Yeah!
Hey everyone, I'm Jason from Expertzone, and I watch Fletcher and Steve on the Expertzone _ Xbox and Mixer channel.
we are one team, and I want to support the love for both of you. So they wanted to share their love, and I was able to capture that on film.
Fantastic. Well, if you captured it on film, let's put a couple of those into this podcast so people can see that we're not just making up random people. Although we could have just asked random people on the street to say, "Can you please say this for us?"
That definitely didn't happen. Definitely didn't happen.
Oh dear, Fletcher, they were good questions.
Cool.
Yeah,
Cool.
I
That's
appreciate
it.
it.
There is a second part to this podcast, which is probably where the less work for us comes in, because Darren kind of did a bit of pre-work with this, with doing some interviews with the developers, and that was probably one of the key things that I wanted getting Darren going to E3 in LA, was for him to get in front of some of these developers and ask them some of the questions to do with the games that are coming out or games that are already here, and what the plans are for content and things like that. And Darren, you did not disappoint, my friend. You got 5 key interviews, I would say, with some of the best developers on the planet.
Yep.
Now, let's jump in and talk about our first interview that I want to kind of highlight with you. You said you were a massive Gears fan. So I would imagine that one of the first things that you did was run over to that Gears area and speak to Scott, one of the developers from Gears 5. And you did a fantastic interview with him around all of the latest stuff to do with Gears 5. So without further ado, I'm going to cut to that interview right now because I've watched it and I think it's fantastic. So let's cut to that right now.
Hey everybody, it's Darren here from the Australia New Zealand Evangelist team. I'm here joined with Scott from the Gears 5 team. Hey Scott, how you doing?
How's it going? Going great. E3 is doing well.
That's great. How's E3 for you today?
Oh, it's awesome. I mean, with Gears, we showed off a couple new assets. We had the Kate Broken trailer, which shows, Gears 5 is the story of Kate, and Gears 4 was the beginning of that, and Gears 5 will be the continuation. This time with, her COG family as well as the Locust family, so it's a little bit of a conflict here.
Nice.
And on top of that, we had the Gears 5 Escape trailer.
Nice. Tell me more about that.
Yeah, Escape is Gears turned up to 11. This is a group of 3 hive busters who are purposely captured. They jump inside the hive through snatchers. They need to plant a bomb and then escape the hive alive. And we're following 3 different hive busters. We have Keegan, Lonnie, and Mac. Each of them plays a different role, and they have different ultimate abilities and different skills to help get out of the hive alive together.
Yep.
So it requires a lot of teamwork, a lot of the same Gears brutal action, but it's a fun new game mode, in a quick, snackable 10, 15-minute segments.
It was great. I got to play it yesterday. Just the gameplay is phenomenal. I actually really enjoyed myself, and I can't wait till it comes out.
Yeah, it's really cool. And on top of that, we're allowing fans to create their own maps with this, so there's going to be tons of support with this game mode, even after launch.
That's fantastic. Now, can you tell us a little bit more about what the retailers can get excited about before Gears releases?
For sure. So for retailers and fans, if they pre-order Gears 5, they'll get the Sarah Connor and Terminator T-800 character skins.
Terminator's coming to Gears 5.
Terminator's coming to Gears 5. In case you didn't see the teaser, they're coming to Gears 5.
That's fantastic. No, thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate it. Hope you're having a great rest of the E3.
Thanks. You too. Thanks, team.
Thanks.
So, Darren, what was it like to meet Scott in person? He looked like a really nice guy.
He was a legend. He was such a big fan of the Gears franchise. He's been there from the start all the way to where he is now. And he's just so passionate. He loves the game. So it was really cool to meet him and have a bit of a chat and have that bit of a fanboy moment. Because obviously, as I mentioned before, I'm a big fan of the Gears franchise. And just talk to him about it and see what's new and when it comes out.
Yeah, cool. And the setup looked amazing. I could see, it doesn't matter where the camera was panning, there was some Gears kind of material in the ground. Was their booth quite big? It looked huge.
So all the interviews were done in the Xbox theater or the Xbox briefing area. So on the actual stage of where they did the briefing. So The Gears themselves had a bit of a setup, but they also had an underground. So as you would have seen if you watched the Xbox briefing, they actually went underground underneath the stage to highlight a bit of some Gears environment. Then you could actually play down there play Gears down there, which is a 3-player.
That's so on point for Gears, right? Going underground to game.
And they had tentacles. I wasn't able. The line was huge. I waited an hour and a half to play for, I think it was 10 minutes of Gears.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So my ratio was a little off, but the gameplay did not disappoint.
Good. I'm glad. Well, let's move on to the next interview. And the next interview for me and for Fletcher is probably going to be the biggest interview that you have ever done, my friend. This game hasn't got, this isn't a new game. This is a game that's been out a year already. They've announced several content updates in between that, and they didn't actually announce anything huge at E3, but their presence was felt. And there were so many people that were super happy about this. I'm talking about Rare's fantastic open world game, Sea of Thieves. Now, for me, and I'm sure I'm speaking on behalf of you, Fletcher, as well, as two people who grind that game probably more often than we spend time with our significant others, we really enjoy that game, and it's created so many fond stories just for the short time. I mean, Fletcher, you've probably been playing the game now, what, 3-4 months?
Properly for 3-4 months for sure.
Yeah. And I've been playing since day one, but to have you on the Sea of Thieves with me has meant that we've grown a closer bond over this game.
Absolutely.
I can absolutely say that. But the stories that we've formed and that no one else will understand if we try and talk to them outside of the Sea of Thieves world, it's fantastic. And for you to get, Darren, an interview with Mike, he's the chief writer for Sea of Thieves. As soon as I saw him on the camera when you sent the video back to Australia, I just had a fangirl moment. I was quivering. I called my wife into the room. I was like, "Look who Darren's got an interview with. Look who he's interviewing. It's Mike from Sea of Thieves." And then obviously my wife was not as impressed and was like, "Oh, that's
who's
nice."
that?
Yeah, he's got a weird accent. Considering she married a British person and you're talking to a British person, it kind of weirded me out a little bit that she thought he had a weird accent. Look, I have spoken way too much about this now before the interview. So let's quickly cut to the interview, because there were some questions that I gave you that I wanted to know the answers to. And he was very forthcoming with some of the information. I don't know if we got an exclusive at the end, but I'll let you guys listen to the end and see what you think. Here we go.
Hey everybody, it's Darren from the Australia-New Zealand Evangelism team. I'm here joined by Mike from Sea of Thieves. Hey Mike, how you doing?
Very well, thank you.
Fantastic. How's your E3 going?
Absolutely awesome. You know, what never gets old every time we bring Sea of Thieves here is just the opportunity to meet fans of the game. And we come here now and people approach us and they tell us all the stories that they've had playing this game, like all the memories that they've made, having sessions that have, like, they never played the same, so they've had moments that they want to share with us, and how Sea of Thieves have touched their lives, how they play with their family. That is the most inspiring part for me. So, like, we always bring people from the team who haven't been to E3 before, so they get to meet with those fans and they take that buzz back to the studio. And like, honestly, like, this is my favourite part of the year. Like, being here is an absolute privilege. I love it.
Fantastic. Thanks so much. Now, a couple of questions from our fan base here.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Does Sea of Thieves have any plans for those pirate legends who have maxed out for the Athens Arena?
Yeah, Athena's Fortune.
Athena's Fortune, sorry.
So, like, we've seen a lot of players are getting to Pirate Legend now, and we've been adding content over the last year, like the first year of Sea of Thieves, so that Legends can engage with as well. Obviously, we've added fishing, we've added the tall tales, but a lot of players now are getting to that kind of like that limit of Athena's Fortune. So, absolutely, we have got plans around that. Like, if you think about where players are on their journey, we've got new players coming in all the time, so we want to do a better job for brand new players as well, so we're going to be putting some more time in. So if you come into Sea of Thieves, we can make it more likely that you're going to fall in love with the game. And players that are still progressing to Legend, we'll be adding new tall tales, we'll be kind of expanding our arena options. But for our Pirate Legends, to answer your question, absolutely, we are looking at ways that we can give them more exclusive ways to play, more things to earn, more goals, more roles to go do.
Fantastic, that's really good to hear. Cool. Now, for those people who are playing on PC as well as Xbox, is there anything in the back end that's determining from maybe the servers for better matchmaking?
Yeah, well, we are actually doing like a cross-play opt-out. We have kind of announced that, where if you're playing on console and you just want to play within that closed pool of console players, you'll be able to do that. And likewise, if you want to play with like that mixed pool as it is now, there's going to be kind of an option on the front end where you'll be able to make that choice. We've started that work. It's quite complex in terms of how the matchmaking works, so it's not out yet, but it is definitely coming out, and we'll share more about that soon.
Fantastic to hear. Now, just the final question we've got.
Cool.
Are there any new instruments coming?
So, like, for me personally, like instruments, like playing shanties, drinking grog on the ship. It's my favourite part of Sea of Thieves.
I love getting drunk. No, not only in Sea of Thieves.
Like I love that part of our game. Like, it totally speaks like the tone and the humour, like playing the hurdy-gurdies together. So fans of the game might have noticed an instrument, like kind of teased in there a little bit. It's in the Pirate Legend hideout. So,
nice.
And people have heard like little clues in there. So there's definitely more instruments coming.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for your time today, Mark. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Fantastic. I cannot believe that you managed to meet him. I am super stoked. I don't know if that was an exclusive or not. I don't think it was. I don't think he'd give lowly old Australia, New Zealand Expertzone a bit of an exclusive. But if it happens,
maybe it's a subtle tease. Maybe he just wants to think about it a little bit more and have a little bit more.
Probably more likely, yes. Do you know what though? If it ends up coming, if this instrument that they have teased ends up coming, I'm absolutely going to say we broke it here first on the Expertzone ANZ podcast. Week 50, listen to it here.
Take the interview live.
Something else that you did for us as well, and I'll probably pop this in the podcast because you got all of the developers, Joe Neat, Mike, you got a few of the other developers as well to jump in and actually say thank you to Fletcher and Steve for playing Sea of Thieves. And
3, 2, 1.
Ahoy, Steve and Fletcher! Thank you for playing Sea of Thieves!
Once again, they have no idea who we are. I'm sure they don't watch us on the Mixer channel, but literally for them to do something like that, they again made my day. I only saw that this morning when I was going through footage at 5:30 in the morning because my dog woke me up. Like I only saw that little nugget at 5:30 this morning, and when I saw it, I was like,
you said that to me straight away, and yeah, I was that gave me a similar reaction. I thought that was so cool.
Yeah, and do you know what? It's so funny because we're nerding out over these guys who are nerds. They were probably picked on and bullied at school, and they are now celebrity icons in our little world.
Yeah. You love and adore them because they make you happy and you get to play the game.
They have made the last 12 months of my life more enriched with playing that game. And I can't say that a lot about games. There's not a lot of games that I would say that I am so invested in that I feel like I want to help bring that game forwards and improve that game more and provide feedback. Like a lot of gamers do that naturally. I'm not one of those people who do that naturally. I can honestly say in my 32 years on the planet, I have never been invested in such a game. Like The Division, I was huge on The Division and I love The Division so much. And I thought that that was the epitome and the pinnacle of where I could get in gaming.
Yeah.
Sea of Thieves has just destroyed that. I've never bought merch for a game before. And Darren, you'll know, you ended up spending over $200 on Sea of Thieves merch to bring back to Australia for me.
Plus a couple little trinkets as a little surprise.
Yes,
added on
I
top.
saw that as well. I now have Sea of Thieves socks.
And put it all in.
Yeah, and a big backpack. So thank you so much, Darren, for getting that interview. You made my E3 just by getting that interview with Mike. So thank you, mate. Now,
sharing the love.
Let's move on to the next interview that I want to talk about. Now, the next interview I want to talk about is a bit of a cult classic with some people. I'm talking a little bit about Age of Empires and Age of Empires 2 because you
cult classic with me.
Yeah, that's it. You
love some Age of Empires.
Yeah, well, Darren, you spoke with Turk, one of the developers that were over there at E3 around Age of Empires 2. Now, talk to me about Turk. He's an Aussie.
He is. He's from Perth, mate.
Oh, I'm not from Perth. I live in Perth, but
he's a local for you. He's such a passionate person, down to earth, happy to talk. He nearly lost his voice through the whole of E3. That's how many interviews he had. That's how many people wanted to talk to him. Everyone loves Age of Empires. They loved it when it came. The definitive edition came to the store last year, and now Age of Empires 2 remastered. I mean, I saw it. I wasn't able to. I didn't get time to play it, but because all the booths were taken up, there was a massive line all the time. But I was able to look at the screen, and it looked real pretty. Like if you have a gaming monitor, if you want to play on PC, make sure you do, because it looks absolutely beautiful. It's remastered. They've got all. I think he hinted in the interview as well that some of the people who love Age of Empires 2, all the little twerks and little tricks that they know should be brought into the remastered edition as well. So people who love the first ones, and it's been going for about 20 years now, I think he said, and it's just, the fan base is just following forward. It's just getting better and better, and there's going to be some online gameplay coming soon as well.
So I can still get my Big Daddy cars coming through.
I believe so. I believe they're
Neo laser men.
Unlimited wood, unlimited metal. But Turk himself, Turk was great. He was so passionate about the product. He lives and breathes Age of Empires, and he was he loved it, absolutely loved it. Great guy to talk to. He talked to him for hours about anything and everything. Gave me his business card, so if you guys have any questions out there, please feel free to hit us up in the comments below, and then we'll reach out to them to see if they can answer your questions.
So we have now got a direct link to Age of Empires 2.
Pretty cool.
Fantastic. All right, let me cut to the interview now, because it was a great interview. It's not a game that I've ever played. It's not really my kind of game, but I'm sorry, Fletch. However, having said that, this interview made me want to potentially have a look at it.
Yep. Hey everybody, it's Darren here from Australia-New Zealand Evangelism team. I'm here joined by Turk from Age of Empires 2. How are you doing today?
Fantastic. Seeing the fans out like this every day, it just brings me so much passion every day, and I've had so much fun while I've been here thus far.
That's fantastic. How is your E3 going?
E3 has been absolutely ridiculous. I've been chatting with so many fans. I'm surprised I still have my voice at this stage, in all honesty. I've just been yelling, just Age of Empires, slaying with people, chatting with fans from all over the globe at this point, and I couldn't be happier.
That's fantastic. Now, Age of Empires 2 got announced at Xbox Briefing on Sunday. So can you tell us what's new with Age of Empires 2?
So the big thing we had when we were basically designing it is we went from the ground up with a lot of the sprites, the animations, things like that, went to true 4K with a lot of that. So keeping things at a point where the original community, the people that played in 99, would really be able to kind of grasp it and look at it in the same light they did, but as they remembered it, was probably the biggest challenge we had. So updating the animations, the sprites, but still keeping everything super distinct so you can look at it, get about 2-3 minutes of gameplay in, and understand exactly what you're looking at. The AI has been entirely revamped, so it doesn't cheat anymore. I wish Marius is here to talk about that. He absolutely loves it. But even in its highest levels now, it'll actually mimic competitive play against it. You're looking at balance, matchmaking, 3 new campaigns, 4 new civilizations. It's going to be super strong, considering you get everything from all the HD expansions in one big pack.
That is huge. I'm excited to go and play. Now, those screens that we're looking at over here, it is absolutely stunning. So those 4K graphics are coming through beautifully. Now, just one last question that we've got here. How do you see competitive Age of Empires playing out in the future?
So the competitive scene's been around since 99, and we're even lucky enough now in 2019, 20 years later, a lot of those players, especially the top level ones, are actually still hanging around. So being able to see that level and go over so many years, the community's been here to stay for a long time, whether you're looking at the modding, the multiplayer aspect of it, all of that's been wrapped up into what the community is now. So seeing it advance out, we've already got Champions League on the way as well, which is finishing up, I think, about August, which has August-September. I think we've got the late there, which is seeing the 2 best teams in the world at the moment fly over into Manchester, and they're actually playing a LAN final there. Open event as well, so fans are flying in from everywhere. It's been absolutely stunning to see what it is. So hopefully with this, we're going to see that much fresh blood in the community, because, you know, you've got people that have been around playing for 20 years. It's hard to get in against that. You're starting out, you feel like you're going to get trampled every time, whereas this big injection of fresh blood we're going to get, it should be a great chance for everyone to get out, get involved, and jump in and learn what they're doing.
Fantastic. Well, you've got me excited. I'm probably going to go out and get this one now, just because I'm a big fan of the Age of Empires 2 when it was back then, but now it's just been remastered. I'm excited. I'm really excited. And it's coming to Xbox Game Pass PC.
Yes, so it's going to be on the PC engine of that one, $14.99. $19.99 if you want to buy it on the Steam, Windows Store, American pricing. Coming spring to Australia, New Zealand at this stage. Apart from that, guys, get in there, get playing, and have some fun. Anyone with HD as well, 25% discount on it straight away down to $14.99. So if you've been playing HD, we've got you back there as well.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for your time today, Turk. I really appreciate it.
No worries, man. Just happy to be here.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
No worries, man. That's perfect.
Fantastic. I like that interview. Again, like I said just before, it made me maybe want to try it out a little bit. We can see the passion that he had for the game as well. It does look amazing. And what I love about it as well is that as you know, Age of Empires is 20 odd years old, that it's going to have different generations playing together. So you could have son and son and father playing. You could have brothers that have a big age gap that play together. Again, creating stories, creating memories and things like that. I really love that. And the fact that there's going to be stuff that the game wasn't changed too much when they remastered it, so that the people that played it originally can jump straight back in and know exactly what they're doing. But new people can have some updated graphics and things like that as well.
Yeah, it's going to look so much nicer, play a lot smoother, and just that nostalgia is just going to flow through them.
Yeah.
A bit of a call out for that one, maybe, and a little bit of confusion from the Xbox briefing when it was announced it's coming to Xbox Game Pass. That is on Xbox Game Pass for PC. So if you have Xbox Game Pass Ultimate Edition or Xbox Ultimate, then you'll be able to pick that up as well.
Okay, well, look, the Xbox Game Pass Ultimate is definitely the one to go for, and I think you can upgrade it at the moment for $1.
Yeah, $1. There's only a limited amount of days left, so if you want to do that, make sure you do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. Cool. All right. Well, let's move on to probably Fletcher's favorite interview. I know that he was really excited, and when you told us that you were getting the interview with these guys, the guys from I'll call it out now, the guys from Madden. Fletcher did what I did when I saw the Sea of Thieves video.
I was really excited. I have like Madden. Everyone knows I'm an NFL fan because I talk about it every podcast, and I spend way too much time playing Madden as well. Like, it's my go-to like relax game, which might sound weird, but like it's a game I can go and I can play, and I can actually chill back and just have a good time, and not like stress out about actually getting stuff done. I love it, and I love going into the depths of like controlling a franchise of NFL. So I was super excited, and it's another game that I've spent way too much time playing.
Yeah, it's true. And I know that I know that Fletcher's a huge Patriots fan.
What? I am just like you. Okay, Mr. Man City.
No, he's not. He's a Green Bay Packers fan. I'll call it now, because otherwise, I think our friendship might be over, and I might be sailing the seas solo.
At
least you didn't. Yeah.
Does Tom Brady play for them?
Yes.
For the Packers.
Yeah, he plays for the Packers.
A better quarterback plays called Aaron Rodgers. Yeah.
Oh, dear.
Go back to Bougainville, D-Milks.
Oh my gosh, Darren, you caught up with Ben from Madden 20 to talk through a few questions that Fletcher sent to you around Madden 20, around the Madden curse as well. And I can imagine that question, when it got asked to him, would have been asked about the 50th time that day. And I'm sure you caught him at the end of the day when he was at his lowest point. But he looked like he handled it like a trooper. So let's cut to that interview now, and let's see what Ben from Madden 20 has to say.
Hey everybody, Darren here from the Australian New Zealand evangelism team. I'm here joined with Ben from Madden 20. Hey Ben, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Not too bad, thank you. How's your E3 going this year?
It's been jam-packed. We're really excited to be here and show people Madden 20.
Yeah, fantastic. We've got a couple of questions about Madden 20. How do you determine a player's Madden rating, especially for the rookie players?
So we have some guys who are dedicated full-time to looking at the statistics of different players, looking at their career, seeing how they're progressing, how they're growing, and they're making those constant adjustments and tweaks to reflect how good or maybe how off form they are, if that may be the case.
Yeah, sure. Okay, that's fantastic. A couple other questions in regards to the franchise mode. Are there any changes this year?
Yeah, so one of the things that we're really excited about this year is the X Factor abilities that we brought into the game. And when players are talking about the NFL in general, what are they talking about? They're talking about the players that they're excited about and what they did in the game last weekend. Yeah. And what is it that brings that into the conversation? Well, it's the special things that those players do. And so what we've tried to do with the X Factor abilities that we added to the game is we tried to capture what those NFL players do that's special from different players and what makes them awesome when they're on your team. And the X Factors will be something that is an ability that a player has that can be unlocked during the game if they do certain conditions. Like, let's take Tom Brady, for example. His X Factor ability will activate when he's completed 5-yard passes 5 times in a row.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
That's a good ability to have.
Yeah. And that will highlight the first open receiver for you. So kind of gives that idea of Tom Brady being a field general, getting out there and, you know, being able to identify who to pass to.
Yeah, cool.
So when in franchise mode, you're going to want to get those players. You're going to see certain abilities that you really like, and you're going to want to get those on your team. Or you may want to develop those abilities on specific players in your team. So you're going to recruit for those things. You're going to get rookies into your team that you're going to grow, and hopefully they're going to have those abilities that you're looking for.
Yeah, fantastic.
There's a whole new depth to that lineup.
I think that's going to really change everything this year. So that's fantastic. Now, I think the biggest question on everybody's mind is, how is the Madden curse going to affect Patrick Mahomes' game this season?
I mean, I think that there's not going to be a curse there. I think he's going to pump him up, and he's going to perform even better knowing that his face is out there on Madden 20.
Nice. All right, cool. Well, thank you so much for answering our questions today. I really appreciate it, and I hope you're having a fantastic E3.
Yeah, thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Fletcher, happy with the interview?
I am so happy. I am really, really happy. And I may have loaded Darren with something he didn't know about when I asked him to ask about the Madden curse.
I had no idea, but they knew what I was talking about.
For anyone who doesn't know what that is, there's a history of the players who get voted to have to be on the front cover of Madden, because there's normally a vote to see who actually gets to be there. They usually the year after have a really bad year of playing. So that's what the Madden curse is. So it was definitely a loaded question. But I was super excited to hear from Ben himself on how they evaluate players for the game, because I wanted to get more detail on that, because sneakily I've actually listened to an NFL podcast where they actually get the guys from Madden to come every year and talk about how they evaluate players, because they do actually have a full team of people who watch game film and just pour over that, just like a normal NFL franchise does, to get that rating and see what they're good at and understand how different players actually play. And I think that is so cool. And you don't get many games that do that, and especially for a sports game, to actually appease sports fans is something that's absolutely needed. So I love that they do that.
That's good. I'm glad. I've never played Madden. I barely understand the rules of NFL, but it's definitely something that I'll give a try. We will never do that on stream.
I really want to do it on stream.
No,
I really want to do it. We should do Steve plays Madden for the first time and never plays again because Fletcher was a bit.
Yeah. If you want to watch someone rage quit, then you might actually want to stick that on stream. Do you know what? I'll only do it if we can get this video to have 100 likes. I'll do a stream on Madden. All right.
Yeah, 10 likes is also enough.
Not gonna happen, boy.
Quickly make more accounts. No.
Oh my gosh. All right. Well, let's move on to the last interview that Darren did, because although we've talked about this not wanting to make too much work for us today, we've been talking for nearly an hour. So I figured that we should probably wrap this up. But you had an interview with a very special guest, Mr. Craig.
Yes.
I don't know his surname. From
Battle.
Let's call him Craig Battletoads. Craig from Battletoads.
Yes.
He was super passionate about Battletoads, and he had a lot to say about the game, especially a game that I wasn't a game. I knew it existed, I knew it was around, I knew it was coming back, but never really kind of dug too much into the depths of it. I don't know if you guys were the same.
I'm the same.
But
it's probably before my time.
I know there's a lot of diehard fans for it though. So
yes. Yeah, it got one of the biggest cheers in the. Like I said, I wasn't at the E3 briefing. I was at a cinema in Western Australia, but the guys in the briefing at the in the cinema in Perth, they were actually, there was a few people cheering for that game as well. So that was it was a big call out.
Hey everybody, my name's Darren. I'm here from the Australian New Zealand evangelism team. I'm here joined with Craig from Battletoads. Hey Craig, how are you?
Good to see you. Yeah, great.
Fantastic. How's your E3 going this year?
It's awesome. We're showing Battletoads playable for the first time. People are having a lot of fun. We've got Sea of Thieves over here. So yeah, great E3 so far.
That's fantastic to hear. Now, we're going to talk about Battletoads. For those people who love the original, what can they expect from this year's one?
So obviously the original Battletoads game was in the 90s. So gaming's come a long way since then. But, you know, having 3 fantastic Toads doing multi-genre, so a bit of beat 'em up, bit of racing, bit of boss battles, bit of puzzles, all of the things that made Battletoads very special, but brought right up to date for what today's gamer would expect.
Oh, fantastic! I can't wait to play. I haven't got my hands on it yet, but I will definitely be joining this long queue to come play it out today. Now, another quick question: there's 3 main characters, correct?
There is. Yep.
Who's your favourite?
My favourite Toad's Rash. He's the quick one. He's got a lot of martial arts. All of the Battletoads have got very unique moves and unique morphs. But Rash is quick. He's nimble. He's a mean fighting machine. And
very much like yourself.
We both like green, I guess. Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, thanks, Craig. I really appreciate your time today. Love it.
Hope you enjoyed playing.
Thank you so much. Cheers.
Cheers. Thank you.
Brilliant. And that wraps up all of the interviews that you did at E3. Darren, I am very impressed with the people that you managed to get in front of.
I'm honestly impressed with myself. That was the first time that I've ever done a on-the-spot interview with anybody myself. So I just thank everybody who organised some questions for me, both of you and DMAC as well. I think we collectively did a great job, and everybody was just so super passionate about talking about their pride and joy, their games. So I was so happy to do it for everybody.
Absolutely. I think it was the first time you went outside in like 2 weeks, right? So it was a good time for you.
Definitely.
Oh, dear. Look, let's wrap it up there. But it is great to see that our special 50th episode of the podcast can be brought together with the love of gaming, and you know how everyone is a gamer at heart in some way, shape, or form. So go Team Xbox on that. All right, well, let's wrap it up, guys. Thank you very much for joining us, and thank you guys for joining us on our 50th episode, the special for E3. For all of your latest updates and social media updates and things like that, keep it locked to our Facebook and Twitter accounts. But of course, for all the latest courses and accreditations, keep it locked to Expertzone. See you later.
Yeah. Thanks, everybody.